Hello, and welcome to the latest version of On Cue, a magazine show produced by Quincy High School interns in collaboration with Quincy Public Schools and Quincy Access Television. My name's Nandan Nair, I'm a Quincy High intern myself, and I'll be your host for today. Let's get right into it. The Wollaston Garden Club has made it their goal to promote and encourage the love of gardening, the study of horticulture, and the development of floral and landscape design skills, as well as working in the community to encourage caring for the environment. Adam Mayer recently interviewed Claire Fitzmaurice, one of the members, about the club and the things they do.
So how and why were the plants chosen for your project?
The project started 10 years ago after the flower beds had been pretty much abandoned by the Parks Department. I don't know what the whole story was going on then, but there was this beautiful new building. Flower beds had been designed or had been installed, and then they'd been neglected. And 10 years ago, the Quincy DPW made grant money available for civic beautification. You just had to apply and have a good plan. And so I applied, and I had several allies. I had not only the Wollaston Garden Club, but I had the Friends of the Thomas Crane Public Library. And I also had the students from Broadmeadows Middle School, the Operation Days Work kids. They had originally, when the building was being designed, they had advocated for the Peace Garden that is located just outside of QATV. All the QATV people walk by. That was in memory of a child labor activist named Iqbal Masih. My daughter Rose had been part of that club, and for 3 years I'd gone out and helped them every spring on Cleaner Greener Quincy when they'd clean up the bed and they would plant pansies in memory of Iqbal, who had been murdered back in Pakistan. So when the grant money came available, it was sort of like all the arrows were pointing at me. I'd been the one saying, well, how come and when and who could help? And so he said, well, now we have free money. Let's get this going. And so I was very lucky to have talented gardeners from the Wollaston Garden Club who could donate plants in some cases, but also really bring considerable knowledge about public gardens and what sort of plants are workhorses. The plant selection, oddly enough, was partially restricted by the fact that the grant money was awarded in a gift card to Home Depot. So I was limited to shopping at Home Depot. So Home Depot came through for me with some very, very good plants. We put in lavender. There were already daylilies. Daylilies, once they're in a place, it's hard to get rid of them. There were some shrubs that were there, but we put in lavender, and we put in heuchera. The common name is coral bells, and we put in semi-shrubs like Russian sage, and over in the Peace Garden, we also had lavender, but there were more shrubs already over in the Peace Garden. There were these beautiful azaleas and hollies, and so we had the pansies from the ODW kids, and just there's hostas are always a workhorse, and because they fill in, and they can have really beautiful different leaf colors, and not so many different colors. Some can have shades of blue, but the variations on the leaves, the size and stripes, and for people who love hostas, they just love them. Other people think hostas are boring and just say, why is that taking up space? But then, so we've been working on it for 10 years, and we discovered which things work and which plants don't, and some plants were surprises. The second year, we got a second grant from the DPW. And so that year we put in knockout roses, and we put in this. I thought I was putting in the same lavender that I bought the year before, because it was just marked as lavender. It's at Home Depot, but it turned out to be this fabulous lavender called, the Latin is Lavandula grosso. That's a pretty fancy way of saying big lavender. It really is a huge, huge plant with beautiful stalks. That's the challenge of a public garden, is to be able to put in different plants. They're almost all, it's like 95% of the plants are perennials. They're going to come back year after year. You finally learn how to time things, that, oh, what's going to be the early spring bloomers? What are the mid-spring bloomers? And as things bloom and then fade, others are coming in and they'll fade, and different parts of the garden take turns having their star moment when they're in bloom. And that's a terrific challenge as a garden designer, to find the combinations that work and a schedule so that there's always something emerging. I've just found it a wonderful challenge. The Thomas Crane Public Library was a particularly happy garden because when they designed it, they also installed irrigation. So between the irrigation and lots and lots of sunlight, it's hard to get things to not grow.
Thank you for answering the questions that I had for you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for taking an interest in the gardens.
Very interesting, Adam. To be honest, I didn't know much about the Wollaston Garden Club before this, but now I definitely appreciate them and their efforts a lot more. Up next, paper cranes have long been a symbol of hope and peace, as well as being very difficult to make for many, myself included. And according to Japanese tradition, folding 1,000 of them, that's right, 1,000 paper cranes, will grant a wish to the person who folds them. To show solidarity and peace to the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, parents and students across Quincy Public Schools hand-folded 1,000 paper cranes and strung them up at the entrance of Quincy High. Nathan Unsworth was there to document the day's events and capture the beauty of it all. Let's see what he has in store for us.
Well, happy Saturday, Quincy. It is a gorgeous, beautiful day, and we are all here for a wonderful reason. We are here to celebrate one another, and especially to celebrate our hard-working Quincy Public Schools students. What was important to me about this project was that it celebrated diversity. We are all here to celebrate equity, diversity, and inclusion. Those 3 letters, EDI, that you've probably been hearing a lot lately, and hopefully we'll be hearing lots more of it this upcoming school year. I am wearing my Quincy Tree Alliance shirt. I am part of the new tree group here in Quincy, and we are volunteers who are working to help save and increase our urban forest canopy here in the city. And what I love about trees is that no matter the season, they stay uniquely them. Trees serve their purpose, no matter what's happening around them. And an oak tree is not a maple tree, is not a spruce tree, but they're all important in their each own very way. And even the fruit trees. Apple trees don't grow oranges, and peach trees don't grow lemons. They each produce their own fruit in their season. And that's what's so wonderful about them. And I'm here to say that we can learn a lot from our brothers and sisters in the plant kingdom. What's so beautiful about a forest is that it consists of many different species of trees, many different tree types. And I think that's what's beautiful about our city. We are beautiful because there are so many different kinds of people, so many different cultures here in Quincy. And we should celebrate one another and love one another as we are. So that is my personal wish.
So happy to be here. I am the outgoing co-chair of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Subcommittee of the Parent Council. So I'm just here to let you know a little bit about our subcommittee. We're always looking for more people to participate. So our subcommittee was created about 3 years ago by Ashley Lynch Mahoney and Jennifer Chen, who's not able to be here today. This group of women worked tirelessly this year to look at how equity, diversity, and inclusion could be improved in each of their individual schools, as well as how could we work across the district to make sure that we are attending to all the needs of the families and making sure that we're creating as much of an inclusive and belonging and welcoming environment as possible for all families. This Crane project is the culmination of the work that we've done over the past year. So our fearless leaders of the school reps group are Gina Favada and Shiv Singh.
Thank you so much. I'm Shiv and this is...
I'm Gina.
Yes, I represent Marymount and my daughter is in 2nd grade Marymount and
I have a daughter in 3rd grade at Beechwood Knoll.
we are so happy to see everyone here. It warms our heart because last year this time we were trying to get everybody together. We had a dream to get all Quincy schools work together towards a common goal. And we thought that we are stronger and more connected if we have common goals together. So we collaborated, we tried to get everyone, and we are so happy that we are here today with this amazing project that we did. And it is just like the perfect culmination of what we had envisioned and dreamed about 1 year back. So this journey has been so amazing, and this project where one parent came up with an idea and all parents, Quincy school teachers, students, everybody rallied behind, and we created this. And it reminds me of a line from the book Alchemist, which says that if you really want something, the universe conspires for you to get it. And here we are today with this amazing project.
May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And with all of the issues happening across our countries, with the hatred, with violence against Asian Americans, we thought this would be a great project to unite the whole entire community and forget about race and just unite together in a common goal with hope. And so this project came out from that, and I believe that all the students were informed of the story. So the story, the project came from the storybook Sadako and the 1,000 Paper Crane. And in the story, there was a little girl, and she got leukemia due to the atomic bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima, Japan. And when she was sick in the hospital, some school students came and gave her a crane. And from there, she learned that there is an Asian myth that if you fold 1,000 paper crane, your wish will come true. And so we took that legend and built out this amazing project. And I'm so grateful for Shiv and the entire EDI team who came together and said, yes, let's jump on that idea, and everyone worked together. So as you can see, there are 6 schools that are part of this project, 3 middle school and both high school. And so each grade are given a certain color, and they are to fold the colors together. And the vision in mind is that all first graders are together, all second graders are together, and we want to be united. Thank you all for participating in this project.
Let's begin our school wishes.
Hello everyone. Bernazani's wish is for peace, and Bernazani believes.
Marymount's wish is for everyone to be happy and to treat everyone equally. Our Montclair wish is unity this year and every year in our schools and our country.
Parker's wish is for peace and understanding in Quincy and around the world.
Our wish from Beechwood: equality for all through happiness, peace, love, and kindness in the world.
For all cultures to be respected.
The wish for Atlantic is good health for our community.
Southwest: in the words of Mother Teresa, peace begins with a smile.
Broadmeadow's wish is love and respect each other always.
The wish of Quincy High School is equality at last and respect for one another.
The wish from North Quincy High School is unity to honor diversity and equality for all.
Thank you, Nathan. That truly was a beautiful display, and I think it goes to show just how culturally diverse and inclusive our city is. The lion dance in particular was very fascinating too. Lastly, it goes without saying that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected our lives on a massive scale. It's especially taken its toll on education. Every school throughout QPS has faced unprecedented challenges, from employing a never-before-seen remote learning model, to scheduling concerns, to trying to fit as many students in the building as possible while still adhering to state regulations. I recently got to speak to the principals at 3 of the schools I've been through: Mr. Ahern at Clifford Marshall Elementary School, Mr. Cristofaro at Central Middle School, and Mr. Taglieri at Quincy High School, about how COVID has affected schooling and the challenges they've faced to date. Let's see what they had to say. All right, well, today we're here with the principal of Clifford Marshall Elementary School, Mr. Ahern. The principal of Central Middle School, Mr. Cristofaro. The principal of Quincy High, Mr. Tag. How are you doing today?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great, and Don, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So excited to talk to a former student. Always nice.
Of course. All right, let's get started.
I think certainly COVID-19, certainly in the spring of last year, as the disease really evolved and became ever-present around us, certainly it had a significant impact at the end of the school year, changed a lot of things, really pushed all of our students really into a remote environment, and really even in terms of having a significant online structure. I think it was new to us, and we were certainly learning. I would say for in-person learning, certainly a lot of shifts for the children. It meant a lot of protocols in place about safety and making sure that we were adapting, again, the school, the ebb and flow of the school day to allot for those safety guidelines. And then certainly for our students who are attending school remotely, certainly a significant shift as well. Different style of learning, different way of learning.
Well, it's just a whole new way of learning for our students. It's a whole new way of teaching for our teachers. So it's been a long process since we go back to last March and think about when we started out. We thought we might be out for 2 weeks of school and let's have some enrichment programs going on and post those up on our website to creating Google Classrooms and Zoom meetings and breakout rooms. But I just think I think of the mental and social emotional piece of our students who have just totally missed out on the pieces that go into that make school very, very special. I'm real proud of our kids for the drive they've shown to stay engaged and to do well and to achieve. But it has been significant for students and staff.
I think the hardest part is when they said, you could bring students back and they could be 3 feet apart, but they still can only eat and have mask breaks at 6 feet. So we did different designs of having some rooms that were 3 feet, that those students had to go to a different place to eat lunch for 6 feet, or we set it that some of the seats in the back row of a room are at 3 feet, and then as you go forward 6 feet, so those kids could come out in different places. So that'd be more of the organization of it, but I think the academic piece of it was, scheduling. And we're fortunate our schedule was made that we didn't really have to change anything, that the teachers had their remote classes and their hybrid or in-building classes, so their order of schedule never changed, so that was very good. But I think for the teachers to be able to balance that, you're going from teaching in person for the student to then back onto a computer, I think those are the huge challenges in making those positive connections with students that you want to make.
There's been a lot actually for the kids, and again, I will continue to say they have done such great work with it. I would say in terms of biggest changes, certainly not having all the students here at the Marshall School. Certainly in the fall we had a hybrid model set up, so not having the students in every day was certainly a big shift. Certainly the way instruction occurs, online, it stayed remote for many of our students throughout the year. Certainly a big shift into away from in-person learning. So I would say certainly the remote learning aspect, certainly all of the different guidelines and parameters that we've put in place in the building, they're very much affected. I don't think it hasn't touched most of what we do. I would say maybe the one thing that we've tried to maintain and keep is just a connection in community in our school, and that's the goal. Harder at times for families that are home and students that are home in particular, but we do our very best to make those connections and keep our kids feeling like they're connected to the school.
Well, I'm just amazed by the work of our teachers. I really am. The idea of that Google Classroom that we talked about earlier, that really wasn't a piece that they'd done before. But so over this summer, our teachers put in a significant amount of time to get proficient. And I'd say now they are more than proficient in what they do in instructing online.
Again, I am so grateful and fortunate for the staff that I have because they all know that our number one priority is the students. So, you know, as much as it's been a struggle at times, they've always stayed professional and they've looked to how to adapt and how to create and how to make sure their lessons are as impactful in person as remote. And I think anyone can imagine how difficult it can be. But again, I'm fortunate to have staff that will go above and beyond for the students.
I think the high fives at the door and what that represents, which is all of our students able to come under one roof together and work with us here at the Marshall. Again, I think our kids, first and foremost, have just done incredible work at home. You know, those families that have chosen remote for the year, our families supporting those students, those learners at home have done great work. But we miss not having all the kids here, all the staff here under one roof, you know, as part of our community. It's the way certainly we would intend it and the way that we would always love it to be. So my hope is that we're able to get just about as many students as we can get back to us in the fall, and we certainly look forward to that in time.
So through the year, I think, you know, starting, you know, that March 13th of 2020, and then, you know, even up and through this year, it's that, you know, in the beginning it was missing the laughter, missing the connection, missing the kids when they come to the building, and how happy that they come, and when they leave, you know, just the positive atmosphere that the students can bring. And I think that was a huge miss because that's why we all got into the job, for the students. And so I think that now that when you have the students here, the masks, you know, to try to make that connection with the student, you don't really know sometimes, are they smiling? Are they, you know, happy? And I think that probably is the biggest struggle is the masks now. And then of course not having all your students here, because like you want middle school to be so special. In 3 years of their life that they're not as stressed as in high school, and they've moved up from elementary and they have a little bit more independence, and it's they're becoming their own. We missed that, you know, in the grade 8 last year and then the grade 8 this year. You feel like you missed that time, and we treasure that time with all of our students that come through here. So that is definitely probably the biggest thing. It's just the connections that we make, and how fortunate we are that, you know, our students come back and want to come back, and we hope that even if, you know, we had that less of time with them, that they'll still want to come back.
It's having everybody in here, having this place just total buzz. You know, all the events that we'd normally have that we come together as a community. You know, whether it be like our cultural fair, the homecoming, the rallies. It's the opportunities for kids. A lot of those memories that they missed out on. So I think of the class of 2020 last year, and those last 3 months, and you know, we didn't have a senior prom, and we had a split graduation. But this class of 2021, our seniors that we just said goodbye to, that was. But how resilient were they? I mean, there was an amazing group of kids. They really were, and they achieved, and I'm so proud of them. But that is the stuff that I miss. It's just the buzz.
So similar to the last question, I look forward to getting those high fives back. You know, again, we'll wait on the guidance to see what is allowed and not allowed. Maybe we'll have to do elbow bumps as the kids come in, but looking forward to getting our students back first and foremost. Certainly mask restrictions have been reduced or dropped outside of the school day, but we'll wait for that guidance as it comes. And certainly, you know, I'm sure for some of our kids, that's something they're looking forward to, less masks in school. But first and foremost, I would really say is getting our students back under one roof. I think it best allows us to be able to support them both academically and also from again that emotional view to be able to make sure that that we're able to do everything we can to ensure that they have the best elementary school experience that they can.
So, you know, according to right now the DZ guidelines, it seems like that's what we're gearing towards. So I don't know what they're going to do. I hope that it is geared towards a safe and healthy summer for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then come the fall, we can welcome students back in our doors, have our classrooms designed in groups and not have to be 3 feet apart. Our cafeteria being open, that kids can be sitting across from each other, eating and talking and having kind of that downtime of their day where, yes, we do it now, but they're spread apart. And outside, they can kind of get closer and be around each other. But again, it's still not the same. So I guess the most exciting part would kind of, let's get back to the normal and get back to building middle school memories, maskless.
It's making sure that we have some plans in place for students. I just don't think when we come back that all of a sudden everything's the same. Like we just didn't have a pandemic for 18 months. For 18 months, and we're just back. So sit up straight and let's go. But it will be making that transition back and having the kids in is what I'm most looking forward to.
All right. Well, that's all I had for today. Thank you. All right. That's all I had for today. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
I'll come back any day and time. My pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. That's all I had for today. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And I think I'd said before, and I got to say again, Nandan, I'm so proud of you, the work you've done. Such a proud product of the Marshall School, I know, and wonderful career, wonderful future ahead of you. So we're just proud to watch you become the young man that you are, all the academic success you've had, and really so proud to be a part of this interview today. So thank you for including me, and we wish you all the best going forward as well.
And once again, a huge thank you to all 3 principals for taking time to answer my questions. They faced a lot of challenges these last 18 months, just as we all have, and it looks like there's finally light at the end of the tunnel. Well, that'll do it. Thank you for watching this episode of On Cue, and to find out more about QATV or how to become a member, head over to www.qatv.org or call 617-376-1440.